We are with a guy who's been with us a few times in the past, but the last time we talked to him, and all the times we've talked to him in the past, it's been as a coach or a coach in waiting in the National Hockey League. This is one of the premier coaches in the history of the game. Barry Trotz is with us, but now the general manager in Nashville. I don't know about Shannon, but I'm quite shocked that you took this job and made this decision. And obviously, this was something that you knew you had in the back of your head for some period of time. We always thought of you as a coach, but what's it like? I mean, I know it's early days, but still.
It's quite different. Yeah, obviously, I had the coaching. I still have the coach's brain, I think.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Obviously, done it for a long time, and when we last talked, I was possibly a coach in waiting, all that, and then David Poyle called me out of the I would say mid-December, and reached out to me and said, "Hey, listen, I just want to put this on your table. I know that you're getting some calls and opportunities, and just want to put this on your plate that you might want to consider." We moved back to Nashville. Nashville's my home, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what, I'm looking for a new challenge, and so I met with David. We talked, took it to the next level. Obviously, going to talk to the ownership. Ownership liked what I had to say, and made a decision to come on and try a new challenge, which is quite different. I've done a lot of things, obviously, starting with Nashville way back in '97. I got to do a lot of the things that I have to do now. A lot of the things I did while I was in Portland, Maine, working with the Capitals back then, and just felt it was full circle. I thought it was time for the young coaches to take over in a game and try a new challenge and see if we can have impact in Nashville. Hopefully, as a general manager that I had as a coach.
Yeah.
Barry, how much of this had to do with the fact that it was Nashville? If this had been a manager's job in another NHL city, would it have tainted your opinion of still being a coach?
Yeah, I'd still be coaching. I'm pretty sure I would do that. I think it was the allure of going back home to Nashville, working with people that I knew in a city that I love, and just probably the stability that I needed for. I have a special needs son. I wanted him to stop moving every few years. So I think if I would have if it was in another city, I might be coaching and possibly doing a little bit of the commute with the family for a year or two.
One of the things I guess you have had to do is educate yourself to a great extent on the players that you have, the system that you have, and which direction you want to go with this team. And it's an interesting team because it's not a bad team. It's not a team that you have to rebuild from scratch. It's a team that was very, very close to the playoffs, but didn't get there. I guess one of the first things you've had to decide is how much do you want to change, and then you see if you can, right?
Exactly. When I took the job, obviously, it was right before the trade deadline, and it was talk between obviously the organization that we were in that what they call the mushy middle,
Right.
and we've been a very good team. Last 8 or 9 years have been in the playoffs. Haven't been able to go too deep, other than the 2017 when they got to the finals. Really felt that it was, we're trying to hang on to the 2017 for really the last 4 or 5 years, and it really became evident that we were slipping back rather than going forward, and our record was a little bit deceptive because of the great goaltending that we have in UC Saros. Analytically, I think he stole the 14 games for us, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so realistically, we felt that it was time to try to get out of the mushy middle. And how do you do that? You sort of retool with assets. We moved a lot of payroll some good players, and gave us some cap space. And we've, I'm looking at next year. We may have 6 first rounders playing in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee went to the semifinals and just lost out to Coachella Valley the other day. So, and the prime guys on that team were all young guys. So the future is really bright, but we're going to have to be patient. We may have to take a step back to take steps forward here. And I think Nashville, the city, the organization was ready for that. They recognized that, holding on to 2017 wasn't a realistic proposition to make, try to win a Stanley Cup. So sure. I think the city's ready for it. The organization's ready for it. I'm ready for it. We're going to be young. I'm going to change the dynamics a little bit, hopefully, mindset, and we'll just build this thing. I don't think it'll be one of those retools or rebuilds that takes 10 years. This will be one, I think, that this is a 1 or 2 year sort of retool, if you will. And then I think we're taking steps forward, and we'll be right back in the mix year in and year out, and hopefully in the mix to win a Stanley Cup. So that's the ultimate goal. It was just time that the team got a little older, a little stale, and one of the things that we've never had is we've never had an elite centerman. We've never had that first overall pick. I think we've done a really good job of being competitive, a really good job of having great goaltending that doesn't allow us to fall to those depths. So, and plus, I think with David Poyle and the staff there, they're just so extremely competitive that it wasn't realistic to in their DNA to say, hey, we gotta go right to the bottom and burn it down like some teams have and have gotten.
Since you've been hired, what have you learned about David's old job, your new job, that you didn't know about?
That it's I need 6 more hours a day just to get the day done. I
so coaching's easier?
No, I think coaching. I say this. Someone asked me this, and I said probably the best way to describe it is coaching. You're tied to the schedule. You're tied to the schedule, and then when you're not playing games, you're prepping for stuff. You're maybe you have some projects in the summer, but for the most part, your summer's pretty free. Where general managers with it's a 12-month job really, and you're tied to the situation. Your situation could be free agency. It's could be your amateur draft meetings. You're tied to the day in and day out of the team during the season. All those things. So you're tied to the situation. So yeah, a lot more hours, in that, and just dealing with a staff as a coach. You probably are dealing with, for the most part, 40 people. I'm probably dealing with about 140 people now, so it's different. So I look at it as a challenge. I think I've surrounded myself with good people. I've got Brian Poyle, Scott Nickel, and Jeff Kelty as assistant general managers, and they run different areas of our organization. So, and I've had relationships with them. I've coached a couple of them. I've known Brian since he was a young man. So the relationships are there, and I know ownership. I know a few of the original pieces from their team from '97. So it's a really family organization. So hopefully we can get it retooled the way we want, and be an exciting team, and hopefully be a team that's a threat every year for a while.